Hi guys, this is Evan from Digital Team Coach, and I'm really excited to share with you some new services that we're going to be providing for churches. We want to be able to enable greater ministry for churches by being able to share the load with you, particularly in terms of communication, administration, compliance, and all those tasks, the behind the scenes work that really is very important for ministry, but is not the key focus that a lead minister or pastor necessarily has. You may have some people assisting you with this, but I know for some churches that they're under-resourced with being able to properly handle the communication and administration that's required each week. So let me share with you just for a few minutes what we want to be able to offer for you. As you can see here, the whole purpose of this is to be able to enable you to focus on your ministry gifting. So the load isn't all on you to have to do. And so that the job gets done, and it gets done really, really well. A little bit about me, just quickly. I've been working in churches and with churches for the last 10 years. I worked for 6 years as a music minister in a large church here in Melbourne, and did a lot of managing lots and lots of volunteers across the network, worked in communication, resourcing, and all that sort of thing. And then for the last few years, I've also been training with lots of churches in all online systems, communication, online collaboration and networking, database administration, all that sort of stuff. My background is as a web developer. I studied multimedia, and I've been doing this for 20 years now. So I understand the technical requirements and how systems work. And having worked in churches for so long as well, I bring both of these aspects together. And that's why I'm passionate about enabling the church to do great ministry with the tools, the systems, and the resources that we have. So what we want to be able to offer you in the next little while is some services that will help to manage and offset the work that you do in your communication particularly. So we're looking at social media, emailing, newsletters, web development, and print design as well. It's an ongoing job that you have every single week to be able to communicate effectively with your volunteers, with staff, with your church board, with just all your congregations. And then also, if you think about externally, out with the wider community as well. And there's a lot of moving parts to it. We understand the challenges that this has. And so we, hearing your feedback, know that this is a need that's required within the church. There might be some aspects of this which you have under control, but other parts which you would really benefit from having someone assisting you with this. So this is going to be like the first service that we're going to be providing in this way. Let me tell you a few reasons why having us on board to help you will really help to serve your ministry. Firstly, it's going to streamline your communication and administration. In so doing, it's going to improve the communication that goes out both internally and externally in the wider community. Really important, of course, is if you're managing a lot of this, it's going to free up a lot of time and headspace for you. I was working with one lead minister. She was a senior pastor, and she said to me that around 70 to 80% of her time was in administration. And that is a very heavy load to handle, let alone all the other tasks within her role and within her ministry. And so being able to work with her helped to take the burden off her shoulders in terms of the systems and all that back-end work that she was doing. Of course, wanting to reduce the overwhelm with administration, allowing you to spend more time in your ministry giftings, which is a good use of your resources and stewardship. We want to remove some of the headaches and pain that you have with your admin and be able to utilize the giftings of people who can do this well, who have that talent and that ability. So Who is this for? Firstly, it's for small to medium-sized churches. We know that a lot of the larger churches have resources and have experienced people inside, and that's really great. But we see such a great need for churches that don't necessarily have that in-house expertise. And we know that for a lot of you as well, it's always a busy time. There are always urgent things and pastoral needs to attend to week after week. We know that technology is seen as a tool for good, and I think there are lots of good intentions that churches have to be able to, for example, keep their website up to date, be able to put out communication on social media on a regular basis. But the urgent often trumps the important. And so we know that you're very, very busy. We want to be able to improve the quality and consistency of what you do. So if you're ready for that, and if you understand the value that we are able to share with you, then this is an opportunity for you. So what you're going to get from this service is you get assistance with your comms, and down the track, then the admin and compliance side of things as well. You've got access to a team of experts who are trained in these skills with communication, and we want to be able to take that burden from you. You will receive ongoing support from our team, access to a hub and a dashboard, which is going to help give you that visual representation of the work that's being done, so that there's a lot of transparency there. We want to make this as easy as possible for you and be able to shoulder all those administrative burdens that you have. So as I said before, what we initially plan to offer is social media creation, content creation, scheduling that and the management of that. Secondly, then website development and updates, and making sure that your content is up to date and representative of your church, because the website really is the digital foyer. It's the digital front door for your church, and that's more often than not the first place that people go to when they're checking you out. We can offer services for email newsletters, the weekly newsletters that a lot of churches put out. If that's something that's just an ongoing burden for you, that's something that we can help you with, and print design and bulletins as well. So let's keep going. Down the track, as I said, we want to open up to more administrative tasks. So compliance, bookkeeping, database management. I've worked with a lot of different church management systems and databases. Done a lot of work with lots of different systems for integration, file management, collaborative tools, all those sorts of things. We've got experience in our team with handling media, video and audio editing for podcasts, for videos, and there's the rest of the list there in terms of automation, copywriting, branding, support with admin, etc. Now, often the first question that gets asked to me is, well, how much is it going to cost? And naturally, that's an important aspect of this. And what we want to be able to provide for you is real value and in rates that are just not going to be commercially unviable, because so many commercial enterprises and companies are going to charge at really high rates. And we know that for churches, there's not a whole lot of budget to go around. A budget is necessary for all these online communications, but we want to make this as accessible as possible for churches, because we know that that's such an important need these days. So let's break it down a little bit in terms of how much time it would save you. A typical pastor with a little bit of tech skill, but it's not your core competency. It's not the main aspect of the ministry that you've been put in charge of. So if you're trying to manage, for example, a print bulletin, social media each week, website management, and other emails, all that time adds up very, very quickly. And I anticipate here it would probably cost you, or take you, probably around up to 20 hours a week. Over the space of a month, you could count those hours. It's a lot of time that it takes. If we compare other agencies and other people who do these sorts of jobs. And I've just taken some sample figures from Australian data of what's available, and also with the rate of pay. If you were to pay an office administrator, for example, at a reasonable wage, and adding up all the costs and everything like that, you're looking at $2,500 a month if they're a half-time person. Often I know within churches, the administrative people, have some skills with admin, but the comm side of it isn't necessarily a natural gifting, and they might not be as technically capable as well. IT consultants are going to be very expensive, and they probably don't quite fit all of this. It probably fits more the website aspect of it, or systems, looking at different systems and networking sort of stuff. Social media agencies, when you're paying a proper agency, a minimum would be probably about $3,000 or $4,000 a month, and you could be looking at well beyond that as well. If you have a virtual assistant here in Australia, the going rate is probably at least $50 an hour, because they're working for themselves, and they've got to make a living as well as a freelancer. So that's just a really quick look at costs. And if we break that down per month, then we're looking at probably around close to $3,000 for the VA. So that's a little bit of comparison. If you're looking at all these services for these particular external experts. Now, what we would, as a sample, go for or be able to offer for you as a virtual agency here is, for these services combined, $1,200 a month. So that's just a sample, and I know that that there might not be all these services that you would require, and so we would create a customized package based on what your needs are. But this is an example for you. Our difference is that we are a team of trained experts in communication and administration. We want to deliver consistently high quality work. We want to reduce the cost for you, because we understand that every dollar counts within churches, and that you've got lots of needs and things you need to pay for. And also keeping in mind, though, that this does need to be budgeted in. So we want to reduce the cost for you, but not the quality. And the way that we make this work is that we have solid processes and systems in place that will help to support this work, and also streamline the work and the collaboration that happens between the people who do the work and you and anybody else who contributes content and the different things that are required for the output as well. So that's how we make it work on our end, and that's the real difference that we have. We understand Australian churches and what their needs are, and we want to be able to serve you in this way. So I also want to say that these services, we know they're necessary, but we don't want them to be a necessary evil. They're an opportunity to be able to show good stewardship with the resources that we do have, and it's also an opportunity for our churches to grow, which is ultimately what the kingdom of God is about. So what happens next if you're interested in working with us, or us working with you? It would be good for you to make sure that the key decision makers are on board with moving forward with this. Book a call so that we can have a chat to you and figure out what your needs are, and we can come up then with a recommendation that we think is going to be suitable for you, for the budget that you have, and is going to be sustainable in the long run. Then once that's all approved, then we can welcome and onboard you, get you into the systems, train up, and make sure that we're on the same page in terms of what's required. We can prepare some templates for you, and then we can really start to get to work on the week-to-week communication that you need all the time. So that's what happens next. Now, for the first little while, we are going to, as a pilot program, really provide these services at a much lower rate, because we want to make sure that we get things right. We want to make sure that you're happy, and that we can make things really, really smooth, tweak and fine tune where there are things that we can improve on. And so that's what this pilot program is for. So we can talk to you about that. So thank you so much for your time. Thanks for listening. I'm very open to hear what it is that you require, and would love to be able to serve you and work with you to provide greater ministry for you and your church and for your community. Thanks for your time.